where the sensor is that can tell when you're wearing cream trousers on a Bentley. Because every time I put a pair on, she breaks down. Just asking. So here we are again, another problem on Nelly. And this time it's a misfire. An old guy who used to work with in a garage told me once that there's only 3 reasons an engine won't run, or it won't run well. Not enough fuel, not enough air, or not enough spark. I know modern cars are so complicated, there's a million reasons why that might be the case, but it's still true. So I decided the first thing to do is actually replace the fuel filter, which at 15 to 17 quid is one of the cheapest things we can do. And that's what this video is about today. The good news is you only need a few tools and it's a fairly straightforward job. I used a set of grips. We use them in plumbing, they're called pump pliers, a screwdriver, flat blade, a jack, and a tray to catch the mess in. I also had to cut a Jubilee clip off my existing one because it was rusted through and couldn't be unscrewed. But you might be luckier than me, in which case you need a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Enjoy! Now I know you're all really keen to get going, but before you do anything like jacking your car up, you have to set it into what they call jack mode. Now the reason for this is that your Bentley has got automatically adjusting suspension. It's driven by an air pump and compressor bags that replace the original coil springs that you would have in a normal car. And what happens is when you get jacked up in one side, the car tries to level the car the rest of the way, and this can cause failure to airbags, overpressurization in the pump itself, and ultimately an expensive repair job. It's really simple to do, and I'll show you how to do this now. Okay, so firstly, just put your ignition on, but not with your foot on the brake, so you just get ACC. If you keep watching the dash up there, you'll see when the symbol, apart from the usual one with the fuel light on, which is always there for me generally, comes on to tell you that the car's in jack mode. To put it in jack mode, you press and hold the suspension and ride height sense switches and hold them. After a short time, you see they're in jack mode. It's saying level fault, but it tends to do that. Don't panic too much. To take it off again, you just repeat the process, holding the buttons down, which I'll do it off screen. There you go. No. There you go. It's gone off. Took about 7 seconds. Starting with the basics, and one of the most basic things that most people need to know in a car is how to change a spare tyre, and that starts with getting the jack out. So let's empty the boot of all my crap. Like I say, I haven't got a garage, so this is my garage. I'm actually doing another job today as well. I'm changing the fuel filter, and that's why I'm jacking the car up. I thought this was a good chance to show everybody else where everything goes. So obviously this is the boot floor. There's a lever here which you lift up, and underneath there's a catch, which I can't lift up. There we go. This is really difficult one-handed. So underneath that you've got your spare wheel, you've got a small toolkit. You remove this nut here to get the spare wheel out, and take that out first. Get the wheel out of the way, you'll see another polystyrene packaging, and that's your jack and your wheel brace. This is the jack. It used to be called something like scissor jack. I don't know if it's actually technically accurate to call them that, but basically that goes under your car, and that handle you wind up within that position until it raises the car off the ground. If you are going to change a wheel, it's a good idea to loosen the nuts on your wheel before you actually jack it off the ground. Points both at the rear and the front of the car. That's what they look like. There's a cutout on the sill plastic, and this sits into the metal inside of it. I found it useful to actually locate that in the top with this foot off the floor, and then wind it down until the foot adjusted against the floor. Road wheel should now be off the floor. Just a point, you need to make sure that the ground under your jack is solid. Don't try doing it on grass or gravel. This is the fuel filter cover removed, as you can see. I had to cut off the Jubilee clip because it was so badly rusted. Not a good sign, must have been on a while. And this is the fuel filter with the cover removed. These are airline pipes for your suspension as far as I know, and this is a fuel line in and out. There's a couple of clips in here which are really difficult to get to. You've got to press the button down on them in order to slide this off. But before you do any of that, you've got to take your petrol cap off to reduce the pressure in it. So this is the fuel filter disconnected. Best to have a tray underneath to catch any petrol that's in it. Once this is fully dry and cleaned out, I'm going to have a cut at it and see exactly what the score is. Considering this car's got a full service history, I'm really surprised at the state of this. And you can see how lumpy that is. I don't know whether that's corrosion coming through from the aluminium underneath or what, but you forgive them for thinking this was the original fuel filter. It's an 18-year-old car. This is a replacement fuel filter. I've gone for the manual. The original one was Volkswagen Audi, but this is the most expensive one that I could get. So that's the old one. They're exactly the same unit in size and performance. You notice that there's a direction arrow. That's the flow of the fuel. Let me see. The actual adapters that clip over these have a push button on them. Now that push button locks in once it gets beyond there, but you have to push it in and make sure it seats fully home. It needs to be almost touching the body. You also notice that I've got tie wraps. The Jubilee clips that were on it were rusted away, so this has probably been on for quite a long time, but it is common practice now when reassembling these and putting the cover on to fit a couple of tie wraps there to hold it in place. So it's finally in, and this is what it looks like. So there's a right and a wrong way around to get this cover. This needs popping in, but basically there's two pipe slots on one side and one pipe slot on the other, and that's how you know which way it goes round. These unions, when you're putting them back in, you simply push them in until they click over that lump in the filter. Next thing to do obviously is to put the petrol cap back on and cycle the ignition to make sure there's no leaks, and if there is, sort them out. Hello again, welcome back. So that was the process for replacing the fuel filter on a Bentley Continental GT W12. So as you saw, we showed you where to find the tools, jack the car up, where to safely jack the car up, how to remove and refit a new fuel filter. I hope you found it useful. If you do, please smash the like button, and if you want to see more videos and content like this, then please subscribe. It's incredibly important that we get at least 1,000 subscribers so that we can start monetizing the channel and doing more adventurous projects. On that subject, if there is something that you would like us to do, please comment below and let us know what kind of jobs or what kind of information you would find useful. There's a great many people who have older Bentley Continentals who, just like you and me, need all the help we can get. So let's pull together and see if we can make something magic.